Hey everybody, it's Adrian Zduńczyk, CMT Charter Market Technician. Some people know me as Birb, and I'm joined for this exclusive interview session with Rachel Conlan, who is a CMO at the very good, largest and the most famous cryptocurrency exchange, Binance. How's it going? How are you feeling, Rachel?
Yakshimash.
Yakshimash. Wow, there you go.
No, it's good to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining on the interview. And this is an incredible opportunity. We have just had so many talks, so many discussions about Binance operating in Poland, about how vast of an opportunity it is to dig deeper, to delve deeper into this region, how strongly positioned the Polish community is among the other communities as well. And I have a set of questions, that I think our users would appreciate knowing the answers to. Speaking of the leadership, right? Because obviously there's been a lot of ups and downs, I think, for the entire crypto industry, and we need strong leaders, we need strong voices, which is even better right now having you as a strong female voice in the space, because we need more women in the space.
Thank you.
And what would you say is that the main kind of like a mission, vision from your end as a CMO, as a fairly highly established person who's got a lot of contribution to the mission vision for the next year?
As you know, I've been with Binance now for nearly 2 years, and it's both an extraordinary privilege and an extraordinary challenge, just because of the sheer volatility and ups and downs in this industry. But one of the things that's been extraordinary is the principles upon which Binance was built on are still so ever present in how we operate today. So over the last 7 years, and I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, who I've had the luxury to inherit those principles from and start to really understand how to put them in practice. So user obsession, it's a term that's talked about a lot in the industry and in technology at large, but we actually live and breathe it. So we're constantly looking at ways we as a leadership team, we as a marketing team, we as a product team can optimize our products for our existing users, and also to ensure that we're inviting the next generation of users in the right way. And that user obsession really, is a DNA through how we live and breathe, as Binantians. Secondly, we know the future is regulated, whether you like it or not. It isn't. It's critical in order for us to have a safe and secure environment for the entire ecosystem to thrive. So we're very committed to working with governments such as Poland, the broader European MiCA strategy, to ensure that we are the voice of the user that can't be represented in every room. And that's a really critical part of how we lead and how we even look at marketing as well, to ensure we're always promoting the right message for the right user. Lastly, I think that Binance has been built on acting as a companion and as a guardian for individuals who are in the space and who are entering into the space. So, being that educator is a critical trait to how we live as well. And, it's something that we focus aggressively on in our marketing, both the marketing at scale and the in-person events and opportunities that we get to connect, those opportunities that we have with our community.
Couldn't agree more, Rachel. Right? The education is such an important piece and factor ultimately, because it paves the way actually for something that we know as innovation, right? Something innovative, something that hasn't been the precedence before. And speaking of the innovation, like what's the Binance's and yours, the viewpoints about the innovation? How do we innovate as Binance in the next months?
Just one point that really struck me from your question was around education. What's extraordinary is we've had 43 million people visit Binance Academy and engage in one of our tools or tutorials there. But when I came here and we deep dived on the Polish market, you've got extraordinary penetration rates here, but there is a 6.7% of users of crypto still feel that they don't have appropriate education. So, through our innovation and through how we are bringing new users on board, we're constantly looking at ways in which we can simplify that overall journey. In terms of innovation and what new products and new opportunities we're looking at, we always focus first on the existing community and what we can do to improve their overall experience. I think you and I have discussed this at length before, that optimizing UX and UI is critical as part of this next chapter of crypto, and to ensure that the ecosystem continues to thrive. So that's a big focus of what we're doing, is looking at all of our different products, our platform overall on .com and the app to ensure that every interaction that a user, whether they're a hardcore user of the platform or a newbie, is really understanding how to navigate. And I think that's going to be critical as part of this next chapter. Second of all, we have an incredibly loyal community. And over the last 7 years, we've been looking to grow that to nearly 218 million as we stand today. And many of them are holders of B&B. So one of the areas that we're very focused on as a leadership team at the moment is how we can reward those users. So we've always had Launchpool, which is a great way for people to put their B&B to work, but we're also constantly introducing new products and new iterations of that to allow you to make your B&B work harder. So, we've just had Mega Drop recently, which was an opportunity for when you lock your B&B for you to engage in new projects, which is always exciting because it's also the innovation side. And we've got some exciting new products coming up to watch this space that we'll make sure to give you early access to. Lastly, Web3 is a really big part of the overall business. We launched our wallet last year. We're constantly looking, we heard the community, we're constantly looking at ways we can optimize that. So we're excited to be, renovating some features of that and making it more relevant for the community, the core community as well as the new users.
That is the user center kind of like type of an attitude approach, I think is what separates you as and in general the very successful brands companies in a word, the very powerful firms, Binance being one of them, basically, like I said, paving the way for the success, because just like I had the discussion with David Princey as well, right? Speaking of the Launchpool, how incredible of a success it's been so far. It's really outstanding. And I think one of the other major areas, for any company ever at any time, user-friendly and user-centered, to take care of is the security aspects, right? So what's your stance, and what's the best kind of like a case solution, some dream come true situation for Binance in terms of the security? How can users feel more secure with what Binance has to offer?
I think this is the biggest misnomer about our industry and even potentially about our brand. I would argue that from a myth perspective, there is a perception in the non-crypto community that crypto is not secure and it is not safe. And I would argue that since the beginning, that's been such a critical part of Binance's leadership's philosophy, is how do we ensure the most safe environment that we can. So obviously we've invested in a very comprehensive infrastructure, and we're constantly looking at new security protocols, from multi-factor authentication to biometrics. Like, what are those integrations that really help us as users of the platform feel safe and secure using that? One of the main reasons that I was drawn and attracted to Binance as well is the commitment to law enforcement and compliance. We really have built a new industry standard. I have 222 people on my marketing team.
222.
We have 1,000.
Okay.
Law enforcement and compliance individuals. Wow. And that's in order to really ensure that we are working with our users and working with relevant law enforcement to ensure that the platform is safe and on a 24/7 basis, because as we know, crypto never sleeps. A third area that's really important to us is ensuring that we have proof of reserves. We've got one-to-one backing. Despite people saying we don't, we do, and I think that has been proved in recent times. But lastly, obviously the founders were always very clear that they wanted the community to feel safe. So they launched the SAFU Fund, which is $1 billion fund, when there are issues or when there have been situations, where user funds, are not safe, we ensure that they are covered and supported, so it does not impact them as individuals. So, that's just like a snapshot of what we're doing. We can always be better. We're always constantly looking at what the latest innovation is, so that we can ensure that our users feel safe and secure at every point of interacting with Binance.
That is such an interesting approach, right? Because the law enforcement to a lot of people outside of crypto, just like you mentioned, is something that would by default be an opposite. That would stand an opposite to crypto, right? Crypto to many people still equals scam for many different kind of like, backlashes that we had as investors, as traders, as participants in a space. And we didn't have any choice, right? Just like the FTX collapse, just like so many people got scammed, so many funds just, got ruined. I'm so happy that you bring in this security aspect with the insuring fund, right?
Yeah.
With this insurance part.
One thing that's really interesting as well, I've spent a lot of time working in the traditional finance industry, and obviously now I'm very passionate about digital assets, and scams and the myths around them in our industry, are proliferating. And we work very hard to ensure that we are correcting media disinformation about it. But one stat that blew my mind recently from Chain Analysis, 5% of traditional finance funds are still connected to illicit scams or Ponzi schemes, 5%. Now that's concentrated. There's always bad actors in every industry. And we aren't at the scale of TradFi. We hope to be sometime, and we hope to companion with them to get there. But at the moment, in 2022, crypto scams, the percentage of them was at about 0.45%. And we've got 0.42%, excuse me. And we've gotten that down, collectively as an industry to 0.35% in the last year. So I think that's a big improvement. The problem is that 0.35% is what the clickbait is and what media tend to be interested in. So, our broader industry, we've had a wonderful discussion here this morning. It's really important that we start educating on the positive stories and the positive user testimonials about crypto, not necessarily on the scandal and the scams that most people seem to be more interested in.
Still, you have a very good developed 1,000 people compartment on the law enforcement, which is commendable.
Even our marketing team, we're all trained up on how we ensure that our promotions, our campaigns, our messages are all appropriate and ensuring that we're creating a safe environment. So not using language that encourages people to behave, emotionally, showing that there's risk. It's really about helping people understand the boundaries and also encouraging do your own research. It's so critical as part of this.
Your own research. Couldn't agree more. And it's just like you're saying. It's speaking the same language, right? It seems so simple at times. The communication is still the most relevant, important factor, which is why so what explains so much of the success of Binance that I think over the years has really set Binance apart as the platform that speaks the language of the user, and it's something very commendable. And I congratulate to you as well, because the marketing part of that is very important. And that takes me to the next point about the user growth, right? Because obviously the law enforcement, this brings the legal framework, the sustainability to grow the user base. Let's talk about the plans for Binance on the next 6 to 12 months on how aggressively can we push the user growth.
So before talking about what's next, let me give you a kind of picture of where we are now. Over the last 7 years, we've managed to grow and are very privileged to grow to 218 million users today. To qualify that, it took us 5 years to get to 100 million, and then an additional 2 years to get to 200 million. And in 2024 alone, we've added nearly 36 million users.
Wow.
So that just speaks, and look, we're very privileged and we acknowledge that privilege and we take it seriously, but that just speaks to the spotlight that's on our industry at the moment. And the spotlight that we were all looking for the last few years. And that has largely been as a result of technological advancements, regulatory clarity, such as what we're about to see at MiCA here, but also as it relates to the influx of traditional funds, which has legitimized the crypto industry and digital assets to a much larger cohort of people. So from our perspective, what's next? I think we are a global exchange, but we do operate in over 150 countries. And that requires us to be global, but act locally. So one of the priorities of the marketing and growth and ops team is how do we ensure that our messaging, that our activities, that our products, that our services are appropriate for the market that we're in. We don't expect, it's not cookie cutter, not everyone wants the same. So how do we tailor our processes and our products, as we continue to grow? So what's relevant for the Polish user may not be relevant for the user sitting in Venezuela, or the user sitting in Vietnam, or the user in Thailand. So that's a big priority for us, is the localization of products and services. And in order to ensure that we're always doing that in the right way, we need to hear as much as we can from the community. Lots of forums online like Binance Build for us to invite that feedback, but also through conversations, with experts in the industry and people like you who are interfaces with the community, that's critical for us. That's something, that really keeps us up at night. Education is probably going to be the top word of this discussion, but, continuing to double down on education. As I mentioned, Binance Academy is a platform that allows users to either do entry-level 101 basics to understanding the fundamentals of trading, to going deeper into how to be a lead trader for spot copy trading, for example. So that's really a platform where we encourage users. But on top of that, we're running over 2,500 events a year in all of our local markets to allow people the opportunity to meet in person. I'm a little old school. I still like going to have a conversation face to face and to ask questions that I might be embarrassed to ask online. So that opportunity for those meetups is where we provide educational seminars, how we engage with our audience to further understand what they need, but also understand what their barriers to the next step is. And we also support them, with our social and community channels, which you and I both know social is the fuel of this industry.
It is.
So we're really double downing on social. X is a really rich territory for us, but I'm really excited about TikTok at the moment. It's introducing a whole new generation of users to crypto, and it's a great way to engage with them, to bring them deeper into YouTube and X, and really extend their knowledge. But making sure the information that we're getting out there is simple, is digestible, and helps them understand what could be their next steps is critical. Lastly, though, what I'm really excited by, that we're, my background is sports entertainment. We're really lucky at Binance to work with some of the biggest global icons like Cristiano Ronaldo, Alpine, with The Weeknd previously. But we are going to, as this next chapter, be looking at more local partnerships. So how do we work with the regional and local talent and properties that help us connect in a much different way? Sports is passion. Entertainment is passion. Crypto is passion. So how do we converge those two worlds, not just to do brand partnerships, but to create new experiences? And for what I see, our community, they're our fans. So we need to constantly be bringing them those new opportunities to engage with us in a different way.
I love listening to your takes. That is a very, very, very big amount of wisdom coming from your words and experience. And that takes me to the very last final question, and a hint to our community, to the user base, to the viewers and listeners, because what I think inspires a lot of people right now is where they should place their attention. As they say, the attention is and the focus is the actual currency is them. In marketing, for instance, right? It's very difficult to grab the attention, and yet that somehow has to be selective, right? So is there any particular genre and type of the domain of on inside of crypto, basically, that Binance places their special focus on? Is it going to be like the tokenized assets? Is it going to be, like I said, AWS? Is it going to be just simply Web3 or meme coins?
Yeah. Look, we, as the largest platform and with the variety of user types that we have, retail is our bread and butter. They're our core audience, with institutional coming on board and VIPs, private wealth. We're constantly looking at how do we create a suite of products and services that's relevant for all. So there's no one priority. Binance wasn't built on that approach. It was built on diversification in order to give everyone what they want at the right time. But, look, we're monitoring meme coins closely, positives and negatives to that. I love that meme coins are an amazing way to enter into this industry. They create fun, they create virility. But on the negative side, there is a lot of get-rich-quick schemes associated with them. It really highlights the importance of Dior above all. So we really have to be, mindful around that. But for me, I'm just really excited about what's next in terms of the integration of the Web2 financial community and Web3. Because the more that we can put crypto and make crypto accessible and put it in the hands of everyday users, is what is going to help this industry to continue to drive and continue to move forward at the pace it has. So whether that be through Binance Pay, whether it through hopefully Binance Card coming back, those opportunities are really what I'm excited by. So no single focus, and I think you get a different answer from all of us, but it's really about the suite of products and services to continue to introduce crypto and reinforce crypto to our existing community that are our priority areas.
Love it. After this discussion, Rachel, right, the words that I would kind of like the keywords that I'm taking away from this discussion in particular with you is the excellence, is the experience, is the innovation, is the education, and the overall open-mindedness, to integrate and to place the user in the center, and something that is worth congratulating, something that is worth fighting for, something that is worth uh, discovering deeper. And I'm more than honored, to be here also because of Deborah. Huge shout out to Deborah. She's
Huge shout
incredible.
out to Deborah.
She's incredible.
Dressed
She's
you today.
She dressed me up like that, right? So I had no other choice. She's an incredible person, and you only have incredible people in your team, yourself included. And a huge shout out to you, Rachel. You're doing incredible work. I'm a big fan of your commitment, of your own strategy planning. I think that the reason that we're here is because of you. Ultimately, that always means something. You have the causality. You have all the resources, to make Binance even more viral, and something that I'm more than honored to be joined.
Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting us to your community that I know you nurture and you foster deeply, and helping us understand how we can be better for them as well. So thank you. You made me blush today. But thank you so much for your support always.
Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Conlan, Chief Marketing Officer of Binance, has been our guest. Thank you so much for your time, excellence, and the wealth of knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've been your host, Adrian Zduńczyk, CMT Charter Market Technician. We're done. Thank you.